Welcome back to this mini-series where we discuss valuations within the recruitment and staffing sector. In our last video, we touched upon the impact on valuations of being a contract versus a permanent agency. And today we're going to discuss the difference of being a niche specialist staffing provider versus a generalist. Seb, what have you seen over the past couple of years in trends within the staffing and recruitment sector?
Yeah, sure, thanks Luke. And it's an interesting question. I think the first thing to say is that generalist staffing businesses now call themselves multi-sector, which in itself might belie the fact that no one wants to be a generalist per se, because actually specialism is now becoming really well valued. And I think that's the key, is that specialist businesses that really know their space, really know their clients, and really know the sector they're operating in can be a bit more dynamic to change, and we're living in changing times. So ultimately what we're seeing is that those specialist businesses seem to be doing a bit better in terms of valuations. There are still transactions for generalist businesses, don't get me wrong, and I think what also happens is that when you get to scale, you can become more generalist, but what it actually means is you have specialist teams. The key is not having teams that do everything, but it's having people that are subject matter experts. And I think that's the trend we're seeing, is that you don't have successful generic recruiters anymore. You have people that are experts in their field that recruit into that field, and that's the trend we're certainly seeing.
Yeah,
I don't know if you're seeing this.
No, I would echo your comments there. The clients that we work with certainly ask us to source them specialists within areas. Areas that are hot at the moment that we're experiencing and being asked a lot of would be IT staffing, contract-focused businesses that have a range of clients. Also, life science, that seems to be a very hot sector at the moment as well, globally. In addition to that, healthcare staffing seems to be picking back up after what was a very tough 12 to 18 months for many.
Yeah, I think we're seeing the same. I think on the IT side, certainly seeing that picking up. I think they have that, a little bit of a slump with tech businesses. There's always that slight lag against what the sector you're recruiting into is doing versus what impacts your sector, but I think we're seeing that coming back. I think it's interesting with healthcare, because healthcare in itself is so vast that it's almost a generalist sector. So I think there are specialist businesses within subsectors of healthcare that are doing really well, but as a whole, it's an interesting space to be in, I think.
Yeah, for sure. But as a whole, I would say being a specialist within a vertical would make you more attractive, and that would have a positive impact on the valuations that you're able to achieve.
Yeah, I think that's right. And I think it's attractive to other trade buyers that are looking at buying in specialism, because they don't want to buy in generalist teams, especially if they're a strong business with their own specialisms. They're looking at either verticals within their specialisms or other specialisms they don't have. But also for private equity, because what you're looking for are people that are really good at what they do. You're not just looking for a generic recruitment business anymore. And so I think that's the trend we're going to continue to see.
Yeah, exactly that. Thank you for joining us for this mini-series discussing valuations within the recruitment and staffing sector. If you have any additional questions, please feel free to reach out to either Seb or myself direct. Our details can be found in the description below.